This edition of the R&R Private Artist Showcase was recorded at Hudson Street Sound in Annapolis, exclusively on 103.1 R&R.
103.1 R&R, I'm Carrie at Hudson Street Sound with Rayland Baxter and his band. Jimmy on keys, or Mr. Jimmy, as I've been told. Tyler on bass, Matt on drums, and Jan on guitar. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
I'm super excited about this. I love the album, Imaginary Man. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So whatever you want to play off of it will be good with me.
All right, cool. Resting on my countertop. Sunday morning I forgot what it's like to lose a friend. For yesterday, how it seemed so far away, and I've said all I can say. And now it's time I get to go, and now it's time I get to find it my own way, and I'll leave you lonely. I'll leave you lonely. So now I'm on the road, knowing not which way to go. Is it yes or is it no? Well, I don't really care. Oh, the golden sun has washed me away, and I've become just another vagabond holding my head. And now it's time I get to go, and now it's time I get to find it my own way, and I'll leave you lonely. It's a beautiful day. When I wake up all alone, I cannot help but run away. Now I'm afraid that it's all in my head. Well, don't you know that it's all in your head? So you roll the dice, melt the fire, burn the ice, find the girl with yellow eyes, and go and break her heart, and see that nothing changes, and I know not what I've become, a prisoner to everyone I've loved from the start. And now it's time I get to go, and now it's time I get to find it my own way, and I'll leave you lonely. I'll leave you lonely. I'll leave you lonely. I'll leave you lonely. I'll leave you lonely.
Beautiful. Yellow Eyes, live on 103.1 R&R at Hudson Street Sound. So I've sort of had this ongoing thing with Yellow Eyes. Whenever I play it, I'm like, so what is that, like a girl that's jaundiced?
Yeah, no.
A dog?
So here's this is when we were naming the song Yellow Eyes, we were all sitting in the studio, be like, that's kind of weird though, man. It makes
might put out the wrong idea, but that's okay, because what Yellow Eyes really is in that song is, I was driving to South by Southwest with my friend who I was romantically involved with a few years ago, and we were just doing sound check jamming, you know. She was playing violin and I was playing guitar, and I just started riffing on this thing like, gonna go get the girl with the yellow eyes, and I was thinking about a cat, you know, like Michael Jackson video, like Thriller kind of stuff. Terrifying but beautiful, scary but sweet.
Is that the girl with the yellow dress?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
She's cute.
Find the girl with yellow dress. That's what it is. But, you know, you can make it up for whatever you'd like it to be.
A listener wrote into me and said, maybe it's someone with the sun reflecting in their eyes.
Yeah, there you go. This is the thing about songs and poetry. You can make up your own. It's out in the open air now. It's not. I had one intention. You can take it and run with it.
Yesterday morning, I was walking around, me and Mr. Rodriguez on the wrong side of town. The streets were all empty and the houses all burned down. He reached in his pocket and he pulled out a crown, and he said, "You're so much like me, boy, step out of your dreams. Watch them all gather round, boy, it is your turn to be king. But you are the only one. Well, you are the only one. I come from a small town near West Beverly, right under the freeway, all my brothers and me. My father was Henry, Mary Jane Eloise. They work in a coal mine from age 17. But I don't see them that much no more. They died one day. A king from a jester and a queen from a slave. Oh, you are the only one. Oh, you are the only one. Oh, you are the only one for me. Well, there's a rose in my garden that never grows, and it keeps me up at night forevermore. And what I hold in my hand I was told to never hold, so I let it go. So the slave and the jester, they met out in the park. A slow song in the distance and a dance to the dark. One hand to the outside, she waves across the wind. They circled for hours, or what seemed to be back then. And she loved him in the moonlight. Soon the morning comes, then back to the coal mine when the day is done, singing, oh, you are the only one. Oh, you are the only one. Oh, you are the only one for me.
Mr. Rodriguez, Rayland Baxter, live in studio on 103.1 R&R at Hudson Street Sound. If you guys just want to play the whole album.
Cool. Okay, great. We
Man,
really
that
don't
sounded
have to be
great.
anywhere until tomorrow at 6 p.m., but anywhere is actually in Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, you got this.
Yeah, we got this.
It's not too far.
You shouldn't have told me that.
Well, the jet leaves at 3 a.m., so
Jet call.
just out of BWI, we've got a private jet there, and it's waiting. Thankfully, Randall, our pilot, is very patient with us and our, fraternizing.
Someday.
Yeah, no, tonight.
Today. Now.
Yeah. I'm kidding. Or am I?
So we actually met before in Annapolis on West Street. And I don't know how we got to talking.
Real
but
life?
Yeah, this really happened like 4 or 5 years ago.
Whoa.
Or did it really happen? No, it did really happen. And you had just played a show at Ramset on Stage.
With Bobby Long, probably.
And I asked you, the show was over and I was like, oh, well, what are you doing next? And you were like, well, I'm going to Bonnaroo. And I was going to Bonnaroo.
Oh, that was with Nikki Bloom and the Gramblers. Yep.
And so I was like, oh, well, I'll try to check you out at Bonnaroo. But when I go to Bonnaroo, like I'm usually working. So I'm running around and I got deadlines and broadcasting to do and all that stuff. But I happened to be walking by and you were playing. And I was like, oh, there's that guy I met in Annapolis.
Yeah.
And you had a really good crowd.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun show.
I always like to tell people when I'm telling that story that you had me at Canned Heat.
Oh, yeah.
Because for some reason, I love that song.
Yeah, we
Going
thought that'd
up
be
the
a good
country.
summer festival song. How does
Yeah.
that song go? It's
What?
I'm going up the country.
Baby, do you wanna go? I'm
But
going to the country. Baby, do you wanna go? I'm going to the country where the green, green, green grass grows. That's not the lyric, but whatever. Nobody knows that. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, my mother, mother, how are you? Why you hide the way you do? There's yellow, red, and baby blue. And every day I dream of you. So my brother, brother, why you cry as you fly away into the night? There's gold and silver, black and white. And where do we go when we die? Maybe heaven or maybe hell, or maybe somewhere else. Just take a look, it's not hard to tell that nothing matters in the end. Oh, la-di-da-di-da-di-da, la-di-da-di-da-di-da, la-di-da-di-da-di-da. So my dandelion, why'd you go? Is there any time to make the show? Well, you can play the song in minor key, but will my dandelion sing and dance for me? Oh,
It's Rayland Baxter live in studio on 103.1 R&R at Hudson Street Sound. So I feel like seeing you again now, this incredible album that you've made, Imaginary Man, and the attention that I feel like you've sort of deserved to get, you're starting to get. And I don't want to say like we've come full circle, because that's like too final. Like,
no, there'll be many more.
I need it to be like a figure eight or like a DNA strand or something.
Yeah, there you go. We're on the right target. Yeah, hopefully Imaginary Man is the second album in a long line of albums that I and we and whoever becomes involved in this, get to make. So hopefully there's 20 of them. But
you have an Annapolis connection, right?
I went to Annapolis High School. I graduated from Annapolis High School. I only went there for 3 months, though, because I got kicked out of my other high school. And it just, my mother, she lives on the Eastern Shore now. But at the time, I moved to Annapolis when I was 13. I grew up in Tennessee and moved up here when I was 13 and went to Severn School for a few years, and then didn't really, I just wanted to get out. So I went to boarding school up in Connecticut, and I did all that stuff, and a voluntary exit, I might add. It wasn't like, Rayland, you're going to boarding school. I noticed that I needed to go somewhere and do my thing, so I went. And then, obviously I did a little bit too much of my own thing there and got kicked out. But luckily, I knew a bunch of people that went to Annapolis High School, and my mother was living in Annapolis at the time. So, school district, I go there and graduated. I had pretty much had all the credits I needed before transferring to Annapolis. So I ended up taking PE, physical education, with a bunch of freshmen because I didn't have that credit. And so I did that, made a bunch of friends, a bunch of young freshman friends.
So,
honestly.
But then you went to Loyola, right? Was that?
That was already sealed and dealed before my senior year of high school.
Okay.
I was a lacrosse player. I'm still a lacrosse player at heart.
I met a guy recently who is an aspiring musician, young guy, and he started talking to me about what he's been doing, and he told me he had just graduated from Loyola and he was a lacrosse player, and I'm like, do you know Rayland Baxter? And he was like, no, but my coach talks about him all the time.
Nice. Coach Toomey. I hope Coach Toomey hears this, because
Legend!
Coach Toomey is the man. He coached at Severn when I went there. He saw me play in 8th grade, and he was the reason why I went to Loyola. He's an Annapolis resident. I think he still lives in Annapolis. And he won a national championship with him. And
nice.
I'm very happy for him. But he's
how about we dedicate this one to Coach Toomey?
All right. This song needs to be
Easily.
All right, here. This is dedicated to Coach Toomey. This song's called Freaking Me Out.
It's Rayland Baxter live on 103.1 at Hudson Street Sound.
So I used to be a good man, I used to have friends. They would find me in the evening and mess with my head. But when I wake up in the morning and no one's around, just me in the darkness flying around, I'm losing my mind. Freaking me out. It's freaking me out. So I turned into a bad man. I ran out the door. I made a friend with the rooster and a friend with the poet. And they made me believe that I was holding the crown. But it was me in the darkness, flying around. I'm losing my mind. It's freaking me out. I'm losing my mind. And now you know it's freaking me out. Oh yeah, it's freaking me out. I've heard it all before. The beggars at the door of my heart. Yeah, there's a reason I fly around, but nobody showed me how to love. Mr. Jimmy. So I used to have a good heart, I used to be kind. I'd be there for my brothers, it was a mission of mine. But as soon as I see there's no one around, it's just me in the darkness, flying around. I'm losing my mind. It's freaking me out. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. And now you know, and now you see. Baby, don't you know what's been happening to me? Yeah, it's freaking me out. Oh yeah, it's freaking me out. Oh, you're freaking me out.
Live in studio on 103.1 R&R with Rayland Baxter at Hudson Street Sound. That was great. I'm in heaven right now. This is fantastic.
Heaven.
So, can I just throw out a few little quick questions at you?
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you think of Ryan Adams covering Taylor Swift?
Nothing. Well, this is the only thing that it's done to me. Now, when I hear him playing a song where it's like him and an acoustic guitar or whatever, because I don't know her catalog and I know kind of his, I've caught myself thinking, is this a Taylor Swift song or a Ryan Adams song? Now he just made it confusing for me. Before it was like, it's definitely Ryan Adams because he's never done anything where I would think anything else. But now I'm like, is that a Taylor Swift song? Kind of cool.
I guess he's said in interviews that they have sort of the same songwriting style.
You'd like to think so.
So you played in a cover band in college. I heard it was a Tom Petty cover band, but it was more than just Tom Petty.
Who'd you hear that from?
I don't know where I heard that.
No, it was Tom Petty, the band, Sublime, Old Crow Medicine Show, Jimi Hendrix, Pink, Talking Heads, Green Day.
So what's your favorite song to cover?
Love Sick by Bob Dylan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah, you should.
Is there a capo in the house?
In your your face.
Should we just do it?
That would be
'Cause
awesome. Yeah, I'm down. You are.
Grab your cape up.
You know I'm a walking through streets that are dead. Yeah, you know I'm a walking with you all in my head. And now my brain is so tired and my head is so wired, and the clouds are weeping, and did I hear someone tell a lie? And did I hear someone's distant cry? You know she held me like a child, and she made my head a while, and took me down to the river. I'm sick of love, and I'm drowning in the mess of it. And this kind of love, oh yeah, I'm lovesick. Do I see lovers in the meadow? Do I see silhouettes there in my window? You know she helped me get along, but my heart never did me wrong. I wish that I never met you. I'm sick of love, and I can hear the clock tick. This kind of love, yeah, I'm a lovesick. You know I'm a walking through streets that are dead. Yeah, you know I'm a walking with you all in my head. You know you held me like a child, but you made my head wish I never met you.
Hey, it's Rayland Baxter on 103.1 WRNR.
There's an empty field along the road where all the rugged lovers go to play at the end of the day. Full of holes and missing parts, paper planes and broken hearts, you see. Not a place I'd like to be, but it's where I spend the night with you. We're rugged lovers through and through, you know. Somewhere else that we can go, 'cause I need to get out of here. Don't you know that it just ain't right? Rugged lovers, you and I. Take a pearl and drop it in the sea. Make a wish and pray that it comes true for you. Let the feather fall into the hook. Cast it out and take a look around. See, the sky is falling down. Write a letter to the lonely ones trapped inside a loaded gun. You'll find it's a matter of time. And I'm so tired, and I'm so bored that I could die. Rugged lovers, you and I. Rugged lovers, you and I. There's an empty field along the road where all the rugged lovers go to play at the end of the day.
This edition of the RNR Private Artist Showcase was recorded at Hudson Street Sound in Annapolis, exclusively on 103.1 RNR.